look at our children today, it is totally different. They do not even know how to behave when they get into somewhere like a classroom. I've been a teacher for going on like 38 years. And in the classroom, the children do not even know anymore to raise their hand to answer a question. All of those things comes from spending too much time on the gadgets and picking up all the American styles. So please get our children away from the gadgets and into reading. All right? This will help. And one of the things, now I'm going to the reading competition, the eyes. They don't look up enough. That is because they're not comfortable with reading. So they're not aware. They cannot look down on the book, pick up about 5 words, you have it in there, speak to you, and come back to their place. They cannot do that because they are not keeping enough in their minds. So it is a thing that they have to be reading constantly. It helps in comprehension. Every subject that we do, whether it is maths, science, it is written in English, isn't it? Isn't it? Every subject is written in English, even maths. So if you put a word problem in English and your child cannot read in English and understand it in English, can they do the maths? Can I hear you? Can they do the maths? No. So please, parents, for your sake, for your children's sake, get them involved in reading so that eye contact will be there. Schools, I would love to ask you, do not wait until the competition is coming around to then grab one person and just grab. No. Start. You know they've just completed their round. When by tomorrow, you can already start identifying who are the students you have in your class or your classes that you can start training them. And not 1, 2, 3. So if one cannot come, the next one steps in. So you will always be on the ball, always ready. And that's what we have to be, ready. Okay, this reading competition is a very good initiative, and I'm a little disappointed sometimes. Well, I have to congratulate you for that. 10 schools took part today, and this is the best round we've had. So that I congratulate you for. All right, but this is something that is very serious. We need reading in everything that we do. So please get your children away from the gadgets, away from the television, into the reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Paula Dura, one of our judges for the reading competition. We will proceed into telling you our top 5 who will be proceeding to the semi-final rounds, which begin on the 29th of April at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall in Roseau. Coming in at number 5, from the Mont Prospect Primary School, Aliyah Paquette. In number 4, please stand up. As number 4, from the Newtown Primary School, Jadon Telemac. Number 3, from the Grand Bay Primary School, Jerlon Gregoire. At number 2, from our host school, the Soufriere Primary School, Michael Gregoire. And topping competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. From the St. Luke's Primary School, Ada's John Baptist. These are our 5 top readers here today who will move on to round number 2. Round number 2 gets underway on April 29th in Roseau at the St. Alphonsus Parish Hall. We want to thank all of you for coming out, for participating. You all read really, really well. And we want to say thank you to our judges, our listeners, our supporters, to Gregory Caressa Rivera, who was here with us. staff of DBS Radio, and of course our headline sponsor, Dragon Windows, we say thank you and congratulations to all our students here today who have made it through, and to those who did not but had the bravery, who were brave enough to come out and represent their school.
Fair and balanced, unbiased and clear, concise and accurate. This is the DBS Evening News. Here is your presenter with the headlines.
In the headline, a St. Joseph man has been remanded into custody at Stock Farm Prison on a charge of murder. In news from the region, St. Lucia records the lowest ever fourth quarter unemployment rate. And internationally, Hungary Parliament votes to limit rights of dual nationals and LGBTQ people. This is a shortened version of the DBS Evening News. Good evening, I am Leila Langford. Details of the news when we return.
Fast Pay, a new and easy way to pay. Fast Pay, Fast Pay.
You ask password, and you got it. A quicker way to pay your bills online. It's fast, secure, and easy to use. No registration, no additional fees. Flow is now offering FastPay, an online service that allows you to settle your bills in less than 2 minutes. Need a receipt? FastPay will send it to your email immediately. Use FastPay now for convenience, safety, and efficiency at discoverflow.co/fastpay.
So fast pay. 2 minutes and you're on your way. So fast pay. So fast pay.
Flow is keeping you connected.
DBS News.
Welcome back. A St. Joseph man has been remanded into custody at Stock Farm Prison on a charge of murder. Ronaldo Luke reports.
Gibbs John appeared before Magistrate Michael Lora, charged with the murder of 70-year-old Obed Cubal Nicholas of St. Joseph. The complaint states that between April 8th and April 10th, 2025, at St. Joseph, John unlawfully killed Nicholas. Police earlier reported that on April 10th, the lifeless body of the 70-year-old was found at his dwelling, allegedly beaten. During his court appearance, John, who is represented by attorney-at-law Wayne Norde, was not required to enter a plea as the matter is an indictable offense, expected to be tried at the High Court. After the charge was read, the presiding magistrate informed the accused that due to the nature of the offense, the Magistrate Code of Procedure prevents a magistrate from entertaining a bail application. As a result, John was remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison. The matter was adjourned to August 12, 2025 for the preliminary inquiry to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to commit the case to the High Court for trial. According to the police, investigation into the matter are ongoing and 2 other individuals remain in custody assisting with the investigation. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
In other news from the court, a Wesley man residing at Fonkole is remanded into custody at the state prison on a charge of attempted murder.
Shad Jerome Francois appeared before the Roseau Magistrate Court on Monday, charged with attempted murder of Credell Joseph of Fonkole. The incident allegedly occurred on April 9, 2025 at Fonkole. Unrepresented at his court appearance, the accused was not required to enter a plea as the matter is an indictable offense, expected to be tried at the High Court. Police prosecutor Inspector Simon Edwards informed the court that the prosecution had no objection to bail, but requested that a proper surety be presented on behalf of the accused. Francois, who was unable to provide a surety to secure his release, was subsequently remanded into custody at the Dominica State Prison until such time. The matter was adjourned to the 1st of August 2025 for the preliminary inquiry to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to commit the case to the High Court for trial. Ronaldo Luke reporting for DBS News.
Our thanks to Ronaldo Luke for that report. A student from the St. Luke's Primary School at John Baptist was named top reader of the final competition of round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. The competition, which took place at the Soufriere Primary School this afternoon, featured 10 schools. Coordinator of the National Reading Competition, Kashina Joseph, has the results of this afternoon's competition.
Number 5. From the Mont Prospect Primary School, Aliyah Paquette. As number 4, from the Newtown Primary School, Jadon Telemac. Number 3, from the Grand Bay Primary School, Jerlon Gregoire. At number 2, from our host school, the Soufriere Primary School, Michael Gregoire. And topping competition 6 in round 1 of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition. From the St. Luke's Primary School, Ada's John Baptist. These are our 5 top readers here today who will move on to round number 2. Round number 2 gets underway on April 29th.
Coordinator of the DBS Radio Felix Henderson National Reading Competition, Kashina Joseph. Minister for Health Kasani Laville has told nurses that they must be willing to accept the changes which will come with the Health Management Information System. The $8 million system will see the digitalization of every aspect of the health sector in Dominica upon its implementation.
The Health Management Information System is on its way. And that is something that will truly transform the way that care is delivered in Dominica. And you will benefit because it is high time that we remove these repetitive, mundane tasks, administrative tasks of entering someone's name over and over and stamping over and over and copying and so on, and have digital systems take care of that so a nurse can really, in fact, be a nurse. A nurse can then be patient-centered and patient-focused so we can have improved care outcomes. And this is what we're doing to facilitate that type of transformation. And I ask of you, I beg of you to accept that change. It is in your interest, it is in the interest of the people of Dominica that we have this type of transformation in our sector.
Minister for Health Kasani Laville. And that was a shortened version of the DBS Evening News. That's the national focus, regional and international developments up next.
Too often, customers are counted but not valued, like mere numbers, statistics, transactions. But at Flow, we're prioritizing you, our valued customers who have been with us through every milestone, every moment. That's why we're putting our money where your loyalty is. Flow customers claim up to $400 in rewards for smartphones, groceries, and more when you add mobile to your current internet plan. Because loyalty isn't a one-way street. At Flow, loyalty flows both ways.
DBS News.
In news from the region, St. Lucia has achieved a significant milestone as the unemployment rate has declined to single digits. In 2024, the country's unemployment rate dropped to a historic low of 10.8%. Last year, St. Lucia recorded its lowest ever fourth quarter unemployment rate at 8.8%. It was the first time unemployment declined to single digits in over 3 decades. It is said that the People First policies implemented by St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip Japier have fueled one of the greatest economic recoveries in the nation's history. These policies have successfully reduced unemployment by over 11% from 21.9% in 2021 to 10.8% in 2024. And internationally, Hungary's Parliament has backed a range of constitutional amendments which will limit the rights of LGBTQ people and dual nationals. The amendments, which the government says are aimed at protecting children's physical and moral development, will enable it to ban public LGBTQ gatherings. Hundreds gathered outside Parliament to protest against the move. The vote passed with 140 members voting for and 21 against. That's news, the DBS Evening Sports Report. Up next with Gavin Richards.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
Well, good evening. Welcome to the DBS Evening Sports Report. Let's begin with track and field news. As the president of the Dominica Athletics Association, Brendan Williams, is confident of a good showing from the Carifta Games team. Well, his comments at the official unveiling of the Carifta Games team this afternoon. 9 athletes will represent Dominica at the Games, which will be held in Trinidad this weekend. The athletes are Karel Etienne, who will compete in the sprint events, Addison James in discus and javelin, Jaden Joseph and Jariah Lewis in the long jump, and Gordisha Joseph in the discus. Dominica will also be represented for the first time by a 4x400 meter mixed relay team of Akisha Luke, Sean Vidal, Chris Toussaint, and Dahlia Geist, where Williams says that he has high hopes for the team.
The team represents the hopes and dreams of a nation, and we are confident that they will compete with the same heart and dignity that has characterized our athletes for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, as these athletes prepare to take their talents to the regional stage, we do so with great hope. Hope that they will rise to the occasion, hope that they will achieve personal best, and hope that they will inspire the next wave of youth in Dominica to believe in their potential. And also hope, regardless of medals won, they will return stronger, more disciplined individuals, ambassadors of not only sport, but of Dominica excellence. Athletes, as you wear the colors and raise the flag, remember who you are. You are the best of us, determined, proud, and capable. Compete with grace, uphold the values of sportsmanship, and leave everything on the track.
And that's the president of the Dominica Athletics Association, Brendan Williams. Well, the delegation also includes coaches Godwin Dorset and Nabi Wallace, with Felicien Antoine serving as the safeguarding officer. Carlia Daru will serve as the chaperone, while Philip White will take on the role of manager and Congress delegate. Brendan Williams will also attend as president and Congress delegate, and Walton Paquette will fulfill the duties of Carifta Games referee. Meantime, Minister of State in the Ministry of Sport, Senator Oscar George, reminded the athletes that they are proud ambassadors for the country.
I'm aware that there were a number of developmental myths leading up to this Carifta event. And be mindful that your selection and representation of Dominica at Carifta 2025 is yet another opportunity provided by the Athletics Association and the government of Dominica. And this, just being part of this Carifta team is a great accomplishment. You know, you have excelled through difficult times, and you have been rewarded with the opportunity to carry your country's flag with honor and dignity. You must carry yourself in a particular way as a representative of your country. There will be people looking up to you, including athletes, both in Dominica and across the region. There will also be people who will criticize you. And sometimes you may feel that they're being too hard on you. Most times, if someone criticizes you, they basically try their best to get the best out of you. So as athletes, we have to get into the habit of accepting positive criticism and taking it well and taking it with humility.
And that's the Minister of State in the Ministry of Sports, Senator Oscar George. While the athletes also received financial support from the government, the Central Cooperative Credit Union, the Grand Bay Credit Union, and the Dominica Olympic Committee. We'll give you some more details on that in another sportscast. Let's move on to some cricket news now, as the West Indies women's hopes of qualifying for the ICC Women's World Cup took a major blow today as the ladies crashed to a heavy defeat against Pakistan in their World Cup qualifying match in Pakistan this morning. Well, Pakistan batted first and were restricted to 191 all out. Hayley Matthews picked up 2 for 30, Karishma Hamarak 2 for 55, and Afi Fletcher 2 for 39. The West Indies, chasing 192 to win, lost the informed Hayley Matthews with the very first ball of the innings, and they never got going. They were eventually bowled out for 126. Aliyah Alin top scored with 22, and Shakiba Ganabi got 21. While Fatima Sana, she picked up 3 for 16 for Pakistan. Pakistan won the game by 65 runs. Here now is the West Indies women's captain, Hayley Matthews.
I think we did a really good job in the first innings to restrict them the way we did. I think conditions suited a lot of our bowlers and we were able to utilize it very well. But yeah, I think we let ourselves down with the bat. Obviously not getting enough runs and probably not being as disciplined as we would want to be with the bat.
Yeah, batting seems to have been a problem throughout this tournament. Has it been conditions or is there something else in terms of that batting?
Yeah, I think it's probably a bit of both. I think kudos goes to Pakistan and the way they bowl today, but like I said, I think we still let ourselves down and no, we could have 100% done a lot better. I don't think it was the conditions that beat us, and like I said, just the discipline with the bats and shot selection.
And that's the West Indies women's captain, Hayley Matthews. Well, the West Indies' next match will be against Bangladesh on Thursday. Pakistan leads the points table with 6 points. Bangladesh has 4 points. Scotland also has 4 points. The West Indies 2. And Ireland and Thailand are yet to get off the mark. The top 2 teams will advance to the World Cup. Some basketball news this evening. The Northeast Comprehensive School girls, well, they picked up a big win over the Dominica State College as the secondary school sports division girls basketball tournament continued this afternoon. Sports officer Yudi John has more.
In the secondary schools under 20 girls basketball championship, the Northeast Comprehensive School defeated the Dominica State College 51-46 at the Massacre Indoor facility. For the Northeast Comprehensive School, Sanaya Lifam had a game-high 31 points, and she was supported by Janet Phillip with 8 points and Danikwa Harriet with 7, while Nayabel Paquette, she top scored for the Dominica State College with 29 points, and she was supported by Akila Daisy with 8 points. The competition continues tomorrow when the Dominica State College boys face off with the high-scoring Mishak Dubuli and the Isaiah Thomas Secondary School. That game takes place at the Massacre Indoor facility from 3 p.m. tomorrow, Tuesday.
And that's the sports officer, Yudi John. In some volleyball news, defending women's champions in the KFC National Volleyball League, the Acers, were among the winning teams as that tournament continued on the weekend. Acers took down the Marigot-based Sunrise team in 4 sets, winning that game 25-20, 25-18, 23-25, and 25-23. In other matches from the women's division, Club 1 secured a straight sets win over the Zebians, winning 25-9, 25-10, and 25-16. And the Celtics also picked up a straight sets win, beating the Breakers 25-17, 25-15, and 25-14. Meantime, in the men's Division 1, there was a convincing win for the Celtics as well, as they got past the Breakers in 4 sets. The Celtics dropped the first set, but they rallied back to win the next 3, 25-23, 25-20, and 25-20. Let's bring you some netball news this evening as the manager of the National Under-16 netball team, Kurnia James, says while the results were not the best, there were still some positives to take from Dominica's showing at the Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament in Barbados. Well, Dominica ended the competition with 1 win from their 5 matches played.
The results from this year's tournament was not what we anticipated. However, coming from the tournament, we have seen an improvement in the endurance of the team compared to that of previous years. And we saw that especially in the most competitive games of the tournament. Against Trinidad and Tobago in the final quarter, we saw the scores being 6-4. That were the scores in the final quarter. Against Trinidad and against Barbados, we saw the final quarter scores being 7-7. So that shows an improvement in the level of endurance of the team. This year's team was practically a new one, with only 2 players coming from last year's tournament, with that being the captain, Delicia Julian, and the co-captain, Jaricia Gage. So the management team has recorded the key areas which would need improvement, especially if we are to participate in future tournaments.
And that's manager of the National Under-19, or that's Under-16 netball team, Kurnia James. Well, the Jean-Pierre Caribbean Youth Netball Tournament was won by Trinidad with with St. Lucia placing second. Let's bring you some football news as the defending DFA League champions Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC returned to winning ways with a 3-goal win over Connect 767 Courts Ready Cash East Central on the weekend. National players Odell Laville, Corbin Paul and Brielle Thomas all registered a goal each as Dubla took the match 3-0 to move to the top of the points table on 10 points. The loss meantime was the 4th straight defeat for Connect 767 East Central. In some other results from the weekend, the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers, they also drew level on points at the top of the points table with Dubla as they picked up a comfortable win over Petro Caribe Point Michel. Antoine Larocque got 2 goals and Usher George added the third as the Roosevelt Scarlet Bombers won that game 3-0. Valvoline We United, they made it 3 straight wins with a 3-2 win over Sagico Southeast. Randall Copel, Kian Thomas and Shamaya Dangoben scored for We United, while Adrian Lawrence got both goals for Southeast team. And Middleham United, they defeated Promex Hallam United on Sunday with Clemson Isaac and Marcellus Bonney getting a goal each. Middleham United won that game 2-0. In cricket news, an over 10-year drought has come to an end as the national under-19 cricket team were crowned Windward Islands under-19 champions on the weekend. Dominica picked up the title on Saturday for a record-breaking 10-wicket win over Grenada. Stefan Pascal hit 142 not out as Dominica chased down 224 without losing a single wicket. And yesterday, with the title already in hand, Dominica posted 318, the highest total in the tournament, as they beat St. Lucia. Dominica ended the competition with 5 wins from their 6 matches. Head coach of the team, Phoenix Thomas, says it was a dominating showing.
Well, I never had any doubt in the ability of the guys. As I said before I left Dominica, I kind of changed the norm that we're accustomed to with practicing 2 hours in an afternoon and running overseas with a team underprepared. What we did was something different, where we trained in the mornings from 9:30 until 2:30, 3 o'clock sometimes, and I had the guys staying over at the academy where we could have done more work with them. And I was never in any doubt that the bunch of guys that we had, that we were going to do well. And again, there was some support from some people that really meant a lot to us. The guys received some good incentives, and that, I think, was the driving force in keeping them happy, keeping them stress-free, and ensuring that they perform on the field. So I think all in all, that is what really took us to that level that we performed at in Grenada, and ensure that we were going to come back with the championship, because it's been too long that we've not won the under-19 competition, and we said this year is going to be our year, and we made it happen, winning 5 out of 6 games, and I'm very proud of the guys and the group of people who were here in Grenada representing Dominica.
And as the head coach of the national under-19 cricket team, Phoenix Thomas, Dominica won the competition with 10 points. Grenada placed second. Dominica's Stefan Pascal scored the most runs in the competition with 317 runs at an average of 79. Darwin Ford picked up the most wickets with 14. Grenada's Christian Murray had the most catches with 7. Most dismissals for a wicketkeeper went to Jarwin Adams of St. Vincent with 7. The tournament MVP was Dominica's Arsenio Fontaine. Meantime, 7 Dominicans have made it to the Windward Islands 20-man training squad for the upcoming West Indies Under-19 tournament. The squad will be reduced to 14 players following a training camp in St. Vincent, but the 7 Dominicans making the trials are Stefan Pascal, Luvio Charles, Arsenio Fontaine, Joel Dura, Kester Lestrade, Darren Toussaint and Edmund Moranci. And the captain of the Guyana Happy Eagles, Tevin Imlak, has praised his team's consistency in lifting the 2025 Regional 4-Day competition. Guyana sealed the deal with a draw over Trinidad in their final game of the season on the weekend. And with the win, Guyana topped the point standings with 126.6 points, ended the tournament undefeated with 4 wins and 3 draws. Barbados finished second on 121.2 points, Trinidad third on 111 points, the Leeward Islands fourth with 98.5 points, and then we had Jamaica finishing in fifth, the West Indies Academy sixth, the combined campuses and colleges seventh, and the Windward Islands Volcanoes in 8th place. Well, that's a look at sports this evening. Of course, on behalf of the entire News and Sports Department, and we had Leila Langford who presented the news, and Dr. Miguel Labadie, our links person this evening. Gavin Richard saying thanks for listening and see you tomorrow morning.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins and bidets. PVC piping, fittings and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
And now for two death announcements. We announce the death of Marjorie Coffey,